Good morning and welcome to LNG Marketplace Weekly News Flash. Here is the latest news we have selected for you from all over the media. LNG delivered into the Mediterranean has fallen to a 2-year low versus northwestern Europe due to a surplus of supply into key regions like Spain alongside pressure from gas hub spreads. The Mediterranean market, which typically trades at a premium to Northwest Europe, has been at a discount since February and was the biggest discount since December 2017, as we read on S&P Global Platts. On Hellenic Shipping News, we have read that Asian spot prices for liquefied natural gas fell for the fourth week in a row, with traders expecting a further slide due to abundant supplies, full inventories, and mild weather. Clearly, there is no buying demand on a market. All inventories across the world are high, production is strong, and the weather seems to be very mild, one LNG trader said. Singaporean gas importer and market Pavilion Energy has taken the unusual step of cancelling the loading of LNG cargo from the United States, but has agreed to pay for it. The global LNG market is awash with new supply amid slowing demand, leaving some traders with cargoes they have bought but are unable to resell. Traders say several other buyers of U.S. LNG cargoes may also be considering simply paying for instead of loading them as a way to minimize loss, as stated on Finance Yahoo. Amid decreasing prices, China's comprehensive import price index for liquefied natural gas rose last week, according to Shanghai Petroleum and Natural Gas Exchange. This very new index was launched on October 16, 2019 and is due on a weekly basis to offer a new pricing reference for importers, as stated Chinese website Xinhuanet. Even if LNG prices dropped to record low, the International Energy Agency warned that the relatively high cost of LNG could deter buyers in developing markets where affordability is primarily concerned. LNG is a relatively high-cost fuel due to liquefaction, transportation, and regasification costs. Despite this, the IEA claims that LNG is set to overtake pipeline gas as the main way of trading gas over long distances by the late 2020s, as we read on S&P Global Platts. According to LNG Industry and Riviera Maritime, Grain LNG, Europe's largest LNG terminal, has exported the highest ever amount of gas in a single day from any European terminal into the UK network. The record activity is due to a global LNG oversupply and, as a result, a sharp increase in demand for capacity at the terminal. The terminal offers market participants direct access to the UK's national balancing point of the world's leading gas trading hubs and, as mentioned in last week's newsflash, has presently the capacity for sale following the expiration of long-term contracts. Brazil will increase LNG imports if pipeline natural gas supply from Bolivia is interrupted because of political unrest. While supplies from Bolivia are currently normal, the country's backup plan includes increased LNG imports. Brazilian Petrobras operates Brazil's 3 LNG terminals. This news we found on Argus Media. Malaysia is revamping its business model and expanding into new LNG demand centers like LNG bunkering and small scale. The logistics infrastructure gives Petronas LNG an alternative way of attracting customers. Reloading and ISO tank facilities allow customers to use small-sized vessels and cater to industry customers, states Hellenic Shipping News. Bahrain's first LNG regasification terminal is expected to commence operations before the end of the year, adding the Middle Eastern country to the growing list of importers of LNG. The project allows Bahrain to handle potential shortages of domestic gas, as we read on Kalash Energy and Riviera Maritime. South African LNG infrastructure provider DNG Energy is ready to start LNG bunkering in South Africa's largest bunkering port, Algoa Bay, next year. The company stated that it is committed to make South Africa a major global force for LNG bunkering. An LNG bunker barge to serve for the region will also be built on the African continent. This piece of news we have found on LNG World News. And last but not least, Pakistan issued a tender to buy cargo of LNG for delivery in February 2020. The delivery window is on February 16th to 17th, and the deadline to submit offer is December 17th. You can read more about this interesting topic on Hellenic News. That's it for this week. Tune in next week for more news, and until then, thanks for tuning in.